Sure. There you go. Thank you. Okay, good talk, everybody. Welcome. We're starting Basar Bechalav. Okay, we decided to do a Lila Nishmas the Bachrim that were nifter last week. Shlomo Abba ben David Akayan, Chaim Simcha ben Gershon, Aaron Nosson ben Moshe Shimon, and Yaakov ben Moshe. The Neshama have an Aliyah. Part of the kavanah we're doing is for them is it's just that I think it's a simple equation, which is that if 4 bachrim were taken from us, so we have to think why that happened. So either it happened because we deserve a punishment, not them, they're tzaddikim. That's why I think they were taken. But we have to, if we have to do tshuva, so we got to take something upon ourselves. So 10 o'clock on a Motzei Shabbos to learn a new sugya that will help us, hopefully help us, is l'chayra a good thing. And even if you want to say it's happenstance, which nothing is happenstance, but then you say that's just the way of the world. People die in car accidents. So by us learning, by us learning something extra, gives them an aliyah for the neshama, because they can say, look how much learning our patira caused people to do. So it's an advantage all the way around. It could also have good repercussions for shalom bayis, because if Bachram and anybody would actually know Basar Bechalav well, then it would take away a lot of shalom bayis issues that go on, and in yeshivas too, as we'll see with the sugya tonight, Bez Hashem. We're starting not from the first siman. First siman in Yeridea is in Basar Bechalav in Yeridea is siman Pei Zayin. So we had some practice runs in Elul, so some of the fellows here that are live did it already. So that's one. But so we're going to go back to it. But really, because whenever you start a new project, so in the beginning, everybody gets into it, and then slowly it peters out. Maybe that's only the projects that I'm part of, because they get a little fed up with me. That is a very strong possibility. But on the chance that will happen, if we do something, Peiches and Peites are very, they're not all over. Meaning it's specific to Peiches and Peites. And it's something that we can all gain from, especially Peiches for yeshiva bachrim could be very, very, very halacha l'maisa. So we'll start with Peiches and then Peites for the next few weeks, Bez Hashem, and then probably we'll go back and do the heavy Basar Bechalav.
We're not finished doing Pei Zayin?
We will go back and do Pei Zayin. Yeah, we'll go back to Pei Zayin after Peiches and Peites. Like this. I mean, the point is like if somebody just joins for the first few weeks, so then, or the first week, or the first, at least they'll get something out of it. That's really the point. Meaning these simanim really are not so much Basar Bechalav that you have to know all sorts of different yesodis, etc., etc. It's very compact. Okay, so basically the way we're going to do it is we're going to read. We're not going to read. If you look at for those that are not experienced learning Shulchan Aruch, there's a lot of words here. There's a lot of fine print. So if we do all of this, we can spend a long time on Basar Bechalav. So the point is that we're going to do a more bekias and come out hopefully with the practical halachos that come out from here. And then for those that are on the chat, if you're not on the chat, as the shilas come in, and if I remember them or remember to post them, and then we'll post the shilas, and hopefully the island will be able to answer the questions themselves, because you see that most questions that come up Basar Bechalav in the kitchen, etc., are straight Shulchan Aruch, and anybody should be able to answer. Meaning the same way if somebody asks you which shoe you put on first, the right shoe or the left shoe, you don't have to be a paisik to answer that. Most of Basar Bechalav shilas, I know I'm throwing myself out the window over here with by saying that it doesn't take much to answer these questions, but it doesn't. Okay, but you just have to learn it. Okay, so let's see. So Peiches shaloi lahalas basar al shulchan she'oichlin gevina. You should not put meat on top of a table that you're eating cheese. Uboy beis sifim. There's 2 sifim in it. So right off the bat. So if you want to think, and the Sif Aleph here actually shows why you can't necessarily compare one halacha to the other, and you have to really learn the halacha inside. Because if you start, the first sentence is afilu basar chayav v'oif. Even meat of a chaya, which is let's say a deer or bird, which the point the Shulchan Aruch is trying to make, and this is really in Pei Zayin, is that midaraisa it's really only meat, actual meat and milk. That's a problem. Meat and cheese, that's a problem. It's everything else is midarabanan, right? Chicken and milk is a derabanan. So the Shulchan Aruch is saying even the derabanan meat is also la'aloisa al shulchan she'ochel olav gevina. It is also to put it onto a shulchan that you're eating cheese. So basically, the Shulchan Aruch is saying that if you're eating cheese on a table, you're eating pizza on a table, right? Motzei Shabbos eating pizza, malama malka, and there's meat on the table. You are not allowed to. You're not allowed to do that, right? Since you're eating cheese there, so you're not allowed to put meat there. Why? Because you don't want to come and eat them together, right? Yeah, that's. I mean, by the way, this is a mishnah. This is just a mishnah, not just, but it's a mishnah in Chulin, and this is one of those cases where the mishnah we paskin straight like the mishnah, right? So you're not allowed to have cheese, and you're not allowed to have cheese and meat on the table at the same time, because of course you might end up coming to eat it. You might forget that you're eating pizza and you have a piece of schnitzel sitting on the table. You say, "Oh, the schnitzel's okay," and then you take the schnitzel. So that's a problem. Now you would think, well, stop. So without looking at the next sentence. So what about if you're preparing the pizza on the counter? It's saying that you're not allowed to eat a pizza when you have a piece of meat on the table, right? Okay, because you might come to eat it. So let's say you're preparing the pizza on the countertop, and there's a piece of schnitzel sitting there. So what would you say then?
The problem with it.
You should not be. That's what you would think, right? That's what I would think, right? That's not the case. Look at the next line. There it's allowed, right? Because since you're not eating, you're just preparing, then it becomes mutter. Not becomes mutter, it's mutter. We're not choshed. This is all chashashas derabbanon, right? So we're only concerned when you're eating that you may come to eat the opposite. But if you're just preparing and you're not eating, then it's okay.
You're not choshed to by mistake cook them together. It's not the.
That's a different sugya. That's a difference of whether you would you're not cooking. You're not cooking now. You're just preparing. Right, but we're gonna get so we'll get to that in the Bez Hashem in a different siman, whether it's advisable to do this. But me'ikar adin, the Shulchan Aruch is saying that would be allowed, right? So that's why you can't necessarily. I mean, if you asked me, which maybe you shouldn't ask me, but if you asked me, and I learned the first sentence, which says don't put cheese, don't sit at a table with cheese and meat on the table at the same time, I would think on the counter, I would even think maybe it's even worse, right? Okay, so what's halacha l'maisa? So you come into the yeshiva dining room. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll get back. We'll get back to the next case, right? Okay, so now we send no questions, so mamela it's not a kasha that nobody asked this question, but isn't this a gezerah legezerah? Maybe a gezerah on a gezerah on a gezerah on a gezerah, right? The whole isser, which we didn't learn in Pei Zayin, but most are aware of this. The whole isser is to cook meat and milk together. That's the deraisa, to cook meat and milk together. To eat meat and milk together that's not cooked is not as a deraisa. Chicken and milk is not a deraisa either. All right? And now we're making a gezerah on top of that. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Let's say, Taka, you did eat the cheese. You eat the cheese and then you decided to eat the meat. What isser you going to be over if you do that? And this is the rabbanon, and this is the deraisa. Right? So what's pshat? Ain, we don't make a gezerah. Okay. That the Gemara deals with in Chulin, and the Taz Aleph here brings it. He says Vafapi the Taz Aleph, Taz on the inside. Vafapi the Kshaoichlin Yachad Nami Lek Isser Deraisa. Shein Isser Ela Dafka Derech Bishul Yachad. The Isser is only Bishul together. V'nimtza Davi Gezerah LeGezerah, and you see that it's a Gezerah LeGezerah. In this type of situation, we do make a gezerah legezerah, right? So that's, he doesn't say pshat. Now, again, we said we're doing it bekiyas. If you want, learn the Gemara in Chulin. Chulin happens to be a Geshmaka Masechta, very Geshmaka Masechta. Some yeshivas do learn Chulin. Some yeshivas learn Chulin. But if you want to go through the whole sugya, it's over there. But throughout Basar Bechalav, we're not really worried about Gezer. Okay.
After two people eating, what if we got one person has two foods?
Oh, yeah. So one person with two foods. Okay, but we're gonna get to sif base. We'll get to that on sif base. Okay.
It shows not only that if you're eating dairy, you can't put on meat. Vice versa. Also.
Vice versa too. Very good. The shach. Look at the shach aleph. Afilu basar aser. Right. Who adin ifcha, and the same thing is the opposite case. Gvina aser lalas al shulchan shachal olav basar behema v'chayev v'oifu pashat. Right. It's pashat. That's the opposite too. It's not. You have to know, when you learn Shulchan Aruch, you have to know sometimes when to make a diuk and what the Shulchan Aruch writes, or when not to make a diuk. One of the diukim that's made is that the Shulchan Aruch says gevina, cheese, right? What about milk? Why didn't it say chalav? This is not a vart, right? I mean, maybe it's a vart too, but why didn't it say chalav? Right? So some want a taina. The reason why it's not going to say chalav is because chalav, you have to have it in a utensil, right? You can't. I mean, maybe in dorms, yeah, you'll lick up if it spills on the table. But most normal people will have milk in a utensil. So the utensil will stop you. Meaning, if you have a schnitzel sitting on the table and you're eating a pizza and you're mindless, especially if you're watching the World Series, Baruch Hashem, you're not, if you're here, right? But you just take the schnitzel and you take a bite out of it. But milk, it's in a right. So that's what also okay. So now the shaila is a cup. Maybe a cup is open, so then you might just take the milk. So it's a machlokes in the poskim.
So you drank milk with your schnitzel, whatever.
Huh?
You also could drink it with.
No, but it's meaning food that's open. It's much easier for you to take it. The more action you have to do, the more reminder there is.
What's the difference between taking a cup
And since we're on Zoom, now you reminded me to say something. I hope to not if I do ADHD like I do with a lot of the other shurim I give, we'll never get through Basar Bechalav, but you just reminded me of ADHD. Okay, the poskim say, right, so you have to have, since we're on Zoom, a lot of people on Zoom, so we have to talk about technology for a little bit, right? So the poskim say, avada, it's usher to have an internet without a filter. But the poskim say, I think it's a Shevet HaLevi if I remember correct, he says, even if you have your own password, again, that's not a lichatchila. But even if you do, that suffices, because that putting in the password, when a person chas v'shalom gets a desire to look at something that he shouldn't look at, that putting in the password is enough to get you to come to your senses. There's psychology in Torah.
Putting the password onto your computer or onto the internet or what?
Whichever it is that's going to stop you from doing whatever it is that you shouldn't be doing. They say. Let's say you're
doing something mutter on your computer and then you have a tablet.
No. We're talking about if you have to, in order to access something that you shouldn't be accessing, you have to put in your own passcode. They say that is enough to stop you, right? So what we're looking here to make sure that you're looking to get something to actually stop you. Now, that being said, don't come out here and saying that he said you could have your own password to your filters. And no, you should not. Somebody else should have it, right? But that's what we're looking for here.
Is it the other way also? Like if you cover a schnitzel on the table, cover it? Or those places would be
So if you'd cover it, yes. Okay, we'll get to that more in Sif Base, hopefully. Now the Rebbe Kiva Eger, right? For those that think that in Shulchan Aruch it's just halacha. There's no Rebbe Kiva Egers. So we have Rebbe Kiva Eger, and we have lots of Rebbe Kiva Egers, but the Rebbe Kiva Eger has a one-liner here. It's there's so many different versions of Shulchan Aruch. You can't really. It's not even going to try to describe where on the daf, because each one of us, just sitting here by this table, is read at probably 5 or 6 different versions of Shulchan Aruch. Anyways, it says also lales al Shulchan v'loy mahani lahamed esle shomer sheyashkiach alav, that you can't have ashkiach kana melech oisayin alav. So he's saying now not everybody agrees, but Rabbi Kiva Eger is clearly paskening. Let's say you put a shomer there, right? You're in the dorm, yeshiva dining room, whatever, and yeshiva serving fleishiks. And you decide you come in with your milchiks and you want to eat there, right? But you're not going to take the food off the fleishiks off the table because it's the yeshiva's table. You know, the people are coming in to eat fleishiks, and you want to sit by the table with the fellows, right? So you say, okay, I'm going to get somebody to watch me. Same thing on Friday night. If you want to use a candlelight on Friday night, you need to have a shomer, right? So l'chayra, shouldn't a shomer work here? If he sees you reaching for the meat, you're eating your pizza, and he sees you reaching for the meat, so then he'll remind you, right? Rabbi Akiva Eiger says no, that doesn't work, right? So you cannot have a shomer. You cannot have a shomer there. Yeah, but again, there are those that are chaylik. Now, what happens? Can you have meat kalim? Can you, if you're sitting and eating milchiks, can you have kalim, utensils, fleshik utensils on the table, or do you have to be worried about that? So that the place can say you don't have to. That the place can say you don't have to worry about either.
Who is
Okay.
the post-game?
So now, there's you can get yourself, the problem is, I thought about this before. I'm saying I'm going to say the poskim. So you can get yourself a Kitzur Svarim to look them up. If I'm going to go through which sefer says what, and it's gonna take up a lot of time. So when I say the poskim, basically, if you get a Badei Shulchan from Reb Feivel Cohen, Zichrono Livracha, it's a very fine. The blue Svarim, the very bright blue Svarim, at least the newer ones. And there, most of this will be found over there. There's a Psakim Uchuvas, the Piskei Chuvas, his son-in-law, wrote a sefer called Psakim Uchuvas. It's a contemporary. It just came out within the last couple of years, but it's right here. I have it right here on the table. It's got all the raid in there with all the maramakoimas and that you can get all the information. You can get all the information over there. Okay. Okay, so now if you look in the Yad Avram, and by me it's on the bottom line. Yad Avram, it starts with the Dibur Amasal of Shulchan Shesoidol of Tavshel Mutter Litin Zeh B'Sad Zeh, right? In a countertop. Let's call it a countertop. So you are allowed to do it you're allowed to have the food, right? So he says of a Mishnah, Messiah v'enechoshish mashvil lehedid afilu lechatchila shari. Even lechatchila you can keep on a countertop. You can lechatchila have food, the milk and the meat, or the cheese and the meat. You could have that on a countertop, lechatchila, right? But tzarich loima demayri mechusim, but it has to be covered. Dimhei megulim, because if they're open, then also L'chatchila, then it's also l'chatchila. Kamashikos sim sadeh sev hey vav. The also l'niach kad shel basar etzel kad shel cholav. That's what you were saying, right? The shema yipol chala shel cholav. The shema, what is that? Lost the place. The also l'niach kad shel basar etzel kad shel cholav. The shema yipol mizel lazeh. Because you have a different issue, meaning if they're open, you have an issue of maybe one of them spilling into the other, etc. Something like that, right? Okay, then he goes off. We don't have to do any more than that.
We said when you're preparing, it's allowed though.
Well,
We just said when you're preparing the food, it's allowed to have both of them on the counter. Now we're saying it's not.
well, he's saying that one has to be covered. At least the one you're preparing obviously is going to be open,
Right.
right? But the other one is he's saying they should be covered. Not everybody agrees to that, right?
What does also l'chatchila mean? Like as opposed to like.
Meaning if you did it, then it's going to be okay.
Well,
But here you-
what would
L'chatchila, don't do
what would I
it.
thought? Like what? I mean, like
See,
I would have thought that if I couldn't eat the food or what I don't understand.
Yeah,
So-
we're choshed that it may drip in, so don't do it lechatchila. If you did it, then we're not in b'di'evid, we're not going to be worried about it, right? So that's what that means lechatchila. Okay, that's basically it on Sif Aleph. Sif Beis has a lot, is where it gets much more technical, right? Again, just to review, you should not have milk and meat on the table at the same time because we're afraid that you're going to eat it. you're gonna by mistake eat it. A shimer, Reb Akiva Eiger says a shimer doesn't work. But if it's on a countertop or something like that, then it's fine. I'm wondering, what about like a windowsill in a dorm room? What is that? A table or a countertop?
What?
A windowsill, like in a dorm. Windowsills in dorm, every space in the dorm gets used, right, for food and whatever, right? So as I think you might sit in your bed and put your food on your windowsill. Is that called something that you prepare?
Based on table or based on use?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's
It's
If I'm preparing food on this table, I'm not eating. Again, it would be okay.
it could be not, because you may have it that you're in your mindset. It's a place where that's where you eat.
But now people eat in the kitchen also.
Oh, so that's the thing, because most people, at least me, the very few times that I prepare food, right, I munch on the food while I'm preparing it, right? L'chayra. No, am I das yachid on this? Right. So l'chayra, if you're that type, so then that doesn't work. No.
We bring food for Shabbos.
Oh, very good. That's good. You reminded me. Raw food, l'chayra, shouldn't be a problem, right? Can you have raw meat on the table when you're eating?
You invert the heaven?
By the way, this can cause. We said before we're trying to avoid shalom bayis issues. This can cause shalom bayis issues, right? Because a woman could come into the kitchen and see this raw meat there, and you're eating your pizza within a few feet, and we're going to say now that it's fine because there's no chashash of you eating the raw meat, right? So then it's okay, but they might. People that are not learning the sugya might say, "You crazy, right? How can you do that?" But okay, the Yad Avram sounds like he was saying that you shouldn't, right? If it's open, then you shouldn't. Certainly, if it's closed, it's not a problem. What?
It's not a low plug.
It's not a lo plug. No, it's a chashash whether you're going to eat from it or not. If you're not going to eat from it, so if there's no chashash eating from it, then it's not a problem, right? Another one of the most common ones. Don't expect this to be texted out because it's not such a common question. But a baby bottle on the Shabbos table, right? Can you put a baby bottle on the table? Right, the Shabbos table is usually meat, and you're feeding the baby a bottle, or the baby comes and puts the bottle or a sippy cup or anything like that, puts on the table. So then what?
There's no chashash of you eating
Formula,
it.
is that
Yeah.
formula?
So is there a chashash of you eating it?
No.
You would assume not,
Yeah.
right?
Have a formula, not pop.
Whatever, something dairy.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Kalim is not going to be a problem. Something there. Kid, a milk bottle, puts a milk bottle on the table. So with that, I mean, most people are not drinking. Most adults, I think, are not drinking from a baby bottle, right? So l'chayra, I would think that should be okay. But this again is another way. If you ask me, I would say it's okay, right? If you ask most women, they will say no way, get that off the table. Rabbi Yisrael Belsky is quoted. I said I'm not doing names. I remember it's in the as it's also, and somebody else I found also that says also, because those bottles, they shake them up and they fly out. That does happen.
With the ones with the filters, the new ones.
I don't know anything about filtered. I hear maybe, but they say the poskim there say that it's awesome that you should not let baby bottles, because somehow they could spray out, etc. Okay, you decide for yourself whether that's usher or not. Okay, Bays, yeah, time is it? Okay. Officially, we're going about 45 minutes. Okay, so this is Sif Bays now, yeah. Now, so the Shulchan Aruch brings the Chumrah, and now it's going to bring all the scenarios where it will be mutter. Yeah. Hada asal, and you get a little musser in here too in this Shulchan Aruch. Hada asal aloisel, we're going to cover all the bases here. Hada asal aloisel shulchan. This that it's also to put it on the table. Dafka b'shnei b'nei adam, hamakirim ze ezeh. That's only if it's two people who recognize each other, right? And memela what? So they recognize each other. So then they're going to share. Yeah, like you do in hopefully like you do in a yeshiva dining room. You sit and you share, hopefully, right? Afilu heim makpidim. See, but here's the thing: the Shulchan Aruch then says afilu heim makpidim ze al ze. They know each other, even if they're makpid on each other, still you can't, right? You're not allowed to, right? Aval achsanoim, but guests she'ein makirim zeh that they don't recognize each other, then it's mutter, because there you're sitting next to a stranger. Now this can come up on airplanes, right? You take out your deli sandwich, and your neighbor takes out a meat sandwich, dairy sandwich,
They're not at
right?
the table.
They're sitting next to each other. They're sitting in the same row. Okay, so that's also debate. So a rest area on a Cholamaya trip by a table, one guy takes out the milchiks, one takes out the fleishiks. So do you have to, or maybe in a dorm, right? I mean, a dorm or
No.
Shiva Dinu. What?
Maybe not.
Oh, do you know the guy or not?
She
Well,
probably-
yeshiva Ragla. I'm going to compare
Maybe
yeshivas.
varies, no.
Well, we got different yeshivas on, so maybe every yeshiva has their own thing. But the point, this is the mussar part of it. If you recognize somebody, even if you're makbid on each other, you're considered closer than if you don't recognize somebody. Meaning, so if you sit and you don't talk to the fellow Jew that's next to you, maybe I'm stretching this diuk. If you don't talk to the guy next to you, you're considered more distanced than somebody who you recognize and you wouldn't share your food with him.
Because if you
No?
talk with the random guy.
I don't know. I'm not sure. At what point do you become considered? I don't know.
This could happen to massive Kiva.
Well, with the Shimer.
Yeah.
Very good. Right. So this is a riot to Rebbe Kiva Eger. Right. L'chorah, right. Very good. This is a riot l'chorah to Rebbe Kiva Eger, that a Shimer. Well, it depends what your relationship is with the Shimer, right? But yeah. But anyways, so it's saying that if you don't recognize each other, then there's no concern that you're going to eat from each other, right? Vafilu hamakirin. Okay, so what's that? So that's that. So now, what about one person? Then the one person with this is you asked, right?
Mhm.
One person with milchiks and fleishiks on the table.
Buttons.
What? That's what you that was yes. So what are you going to say to that? To l'chara, that's a problem,
That,
right?
yeah, I'm saying. There's only two people.
That it's also to put it on the table, right?
Yeah.
That's dafka, yeah, because as opposed to people that don't recognize each other. Right, meaning it's as opposed to the heter would be if you don't recognize the guy, you're not going to go share with him, right? But if it's somebody that if you take away that chashash and you're very comfortable, then you're allowed. I mean, I have friends that in a pizza shop will go take somebody else. You know, people leave, they'll go take the leftover food.
It's
Yeah,
absolutely.
it depends. After they leave, or I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to do something. So now if you look, again, for those that are not so familiar with Shulchan Aruch, so you have the Shach and the Taz. Those are the main mefarshim on the Shulchan Aruch. The Shach, you see this long one, the Shach Beis is very long. So there's a sefer here, the Ber Hetiv, right? This Ber Hetiv is a shortened version of the. Oh, I have to pull up the chat. The Ber Hetiv is a shortened version of the Shach and the Taz. So because it's Matzah Shabbos and we're trying to get through Basar Bechalav in a timely fashion, at least to get ourselves educated. So when it's long Shach, we're going to go to the shortcut, which is the Ber Hetiv. So let's look at the Ber Hetiv Aleph. Yeah. So it says, I was just looking at if I missed anything else. Okay, so hamakirim, right? She'enam bizbaishim zemizeh. It's an interesting terminology. So makirim is that they're not embarrassed from each other. And each one will share and eat from his friend. So since they're all eating from they'll eat from each other. So then it's a problem because they might share. Nira afilu yachid sheyoshev ala shulchan. This is what we just discussed. Even a yachid that's sitting on the table, ve'ein ima shum adam, and he has nobody else there. Afilu hachi aser mishum shema yavel achlam machmas shikha. Right, even one person, he's going to forget. So therefore, so this does apply to somebody sitting by himself. Good. Because of a shach, benira. Dafka basar also lahalas al shulchan sheichel sham chala va'yivcha. that's dafka meat that you're not allowed to eat, or the opposite. Mishum delay bedili in shimine. For those that ever learned psachim, this comes up a lot in psachim. That people are not, you're not normally separated from it. Shekol echad chuter b'fnei atzmei, meaning cheese is mutter to eat, and meat is mutter to eat. So when you're eating meat, you might forget, don't eat the cheese. When you're eating cheese, you might forget, and you might eat the meat, right? Aval mutter lahal is basar nevela al shulchan shachal basar kshera. You are allowed to have treif, meaning non-kosher food. You're allowed to have. Let's say you have a cleaning lady who wants to eat her treif of food. Now, whether you should let her bring the treif of food into your house is a different sugya. But let's say she does, or you're sitting at a park and there's somebody eating treif at the table, or on an airplane. So then that's not a problem because it's a built-in havdalah. You have a built-in on your radar. You have a built-in radar not to be eating that. Right, the guy's eating McDonald's next to you. L'chayra, you're not gonna by mistake reach out your hand to take it. You'd hope, right? So mamela, it's loy bedili in shemine, and then bedili in shemine. So mamela, it's not a problem. Miu aser halos lechem shalis. So let's say bread that doesn't have a hersher, tray for bread. So that you can't, even if it's tray for bread, that you can. Why? Everybody's used to eating bread, right? So therefore, you cannot have, even if it's not kosher bread, you can't have that bread on the table unless, well, we haven't gotten to the heterim yet, but you can't have bread on the table because bread you're used to eating, so you might forget that bread is not kosher, right? Then he says, "V'ayim b'simin reish chav aleph u'barachayim simin tov mem." So those simin reish chav aleph, that's in Yeridea. That is, anybody want to try and guess? Don't guess. We don't have time. Nedarim. That's hilchos nedarim. Can somebody who makes a neder not to eat meat, can he have that on the table when he's eating dairy? Right. So we're saying that meat and cheese normally, so you're used to eating it, so therefore we're afraid that you're going to go take from it, right? But what if you made a neder? It's the same meat, but you made a neder on it. So does that neder? Will that neder make it that you don't eat it? So it's actually a machlokes.
Could it also depend?
What?
Could it depend how long you're doing the nether? If you're doing for 10 years.
I don't know. I don't know. Remember if we're machalik with that, depending on how long the neder is. But it's a machlokes whether we say it neder for that, and also the second one is an Arachaim Siman Tov Mem Pesach. Very good. That's hilchos Pesach, and that is because, as we know, we're not bodil from chometz on Pesach. Without going to that whole sugi, what it's negeya to, but Pesach, can you sit in a park or in a park, in a rest stop, and they have pretzels there, etc., etc.? Can you sit and eat your food there, or are we afraid that you might reach out your hand and take the pretzels or whatever else?
Recognise the guy though that's eating pretzels on Basar.
What do you mean for a guy?
You didn't recognize the other guy, right?
Yeah, but this is yourself. Can you sit with chametz on the table and and eat Pesach? Not your own chametz, obviously.
So
Somebody else's. Yeah, you go to a rest stop and there's somebody left a bag of pretzels there. You don't know if they're coming back, but you're hungry and you want to eat, right? And you know. So it's loy b'dili in shemine. You might forget that it's Pesach.
same thing for
Huh?
that's kosher.
No, I'm saying no. Let's say it's in the bag. It's in an open bag. Let's say.
Kidney is the same thing.
Right? What?
Kidney should be the same thing.
Kidney is. We really got to kidney is. I don't know.
When he said
Maybe it's a
I
gzeira
swear.
l'gzeira. It's a gzeira l'gzeira. Maybe.
He said
I don't know.
that.
Well, I don't know if a kidney is. Maybe there is. Right? It's no gzeira l'gzeira for basar b'chalav.
when he said non-kosher bread, did he mean like any non-kosher food? Like let's say you have like a non-kosher.
No,
salad.
non-kosher bread specific, because that you're not non-kosher salad. You see a salad from McDonald's, so you're not going to touch it because you're used to not eating non-kosher food. You're bedili.
Why is bread different?
Because bread is bread. It looks like bread.
Salad looks like salad. I don't know.
No. So salad and a chanami. If you don't know where the salad's from, so then that's kosher, right?
Why didn't you pass column?
What?
Pass column.
What do you mean?
If you eat Basar.
What do you mean? Milk with bread. That's a different issue, right? That you could have that. Yeah. Oh, so that comes up a lot. Agav, it comes up a lot. I imagine I'll post a shiloh like this tomorrow on the chat, because every Sunday morning people want to make French toast with the leftover challah. It's a different sugya. I forget what siman it is. It's a different. Can you do that? So we're choshed that bread that's on a meat table, we're choshed that it's meat. So you cannot make French toast with bread. Now Ramosha has a tshuva that if it's in a bread basket and it's on a challah board, so we're not afraid that meat touched it. Right? But can you keep that bread on the table that you're eating milchiks on Sunday morning? Right? Or do you have to take it off the table? So the post can say you have to take it off the table because we treat that bread that it's considered it's meat. That it's meat. Okay. Now, okay, somebody I noticed a couple of questions that when they get to this. Oh yeah, so somebody who has an allergy to that particular food, right? So you're sitting at the table and you're allergic to meat. So we usually it's the other way. You're allergic to dairy, so you're not going to eat it. So I don't remember what I don't remember what we come out with. I know it's a machlokes. That's not a chiddush.
Depending how.
Um,
I'm saying you say he also had the worry about everybody else though.
What do you mean?
Do you have to worry about the other people though taking your food? Because you're sitting at the table with them, you're not the only one with the issue. It's everybody has the issue of
Right.
sharing the
hear.
food.
All right.
So maybe
I hear.
the car wasn't in you, but it's them wanting to take your food.
Okay, so that I mean all these variations, I don't remember how we'd come out.
By yourself.
I think we'd be Makel. As far as I remember, I think the post can say that we're Makel. I apologize, I'm not remembering now. Maybe I'll look at it Belinada and try and remember for next week as the show. Okay, let's go a little weiter because it's getting a little late. Now, back in the Shulchan Aruch. Anything else over there? Okay, the Pesach Tshuva brings in. So you look at the Pesach Tshuva to the right, at least in my Shulchan Aruch, it's to the right of the Bereitev. So Hamakirim, so he says, I Bereitev, Amar Anam Midover, Oy Oyser Achila Allah, also Lahalas Al Shulchan, Kain Masher B'Shach. He's going that, he paskins. See, we didn't paskin. The Bereitev didn't paskin. He just said Ayin in Hilchos Nedarim. So the Pesach Tshuva is being machmer. He says it's mashmer in the shach. We didn't look at the shach. We did the beretiv. It's mashmer in the shach that it would be also if you made, because it's not considered enough of bedili minay if you made a neder. Makpidim, yeah. Gimel Pesach Tshuva Gimel says medivrei harash shehevi hashach b'sifkat and beis mavur dim nidro hana zeh nidro hana zeh mutarm lampo. I think I have a printing mistake here. Dim nadru hana zeh miza, right? It should be a miza. The new ones have the miza. Yeah, that makes sense. They made a neder from each other. Mutarim lechal basar grino. Shesainim zeh. Because that means they hate each other. So if they hate each other, so then you're not going. There's no chashash that you're going to share food with each other. Ayin sham v'chein kotzpri megadim. Then there's another kula here. V'chein kosav pri megadim v'kosav a bach b'shem marshal de b'yoshim rechoikim zeh mizeh b'kidei she'ein yochel ha'echad lifshot yadav v'lechel v'ma shoycha averoi shari l'divrei achol b'loy hakera. We didn't get to the hakera part. Meaning he's saying that we didn't get to the hakera part yet. So we're sitting at a table over here. If I'm here on this end of the table and you're 10 feet away at the other end of the table, then there's no problem if you eat meat and I eat dairy because we can't reach out. Oh, you could stand up and get it. See, this part I can understand. I'm not standing up to get anything. As much as I love food, I'm not standing up. It's limited. If you serve me, I'll eat a lot. To be proactive to stand up that much, I'm not doing. What? In
Everything is very far apart now.
for what? For
Everything.
yeah.
It's not only for people either.
Even for yourself. Well, I mean, if the food is at the other end of the table, yeah. Right? Fine. Okay, so now let's go back in Shulchan Aruch. Vafilu, we're four in my Shulchan Aruch, it's 4 lines into the base. Vafilu hamakirim, right? Even those that recognize each other, im asu shum heker, if you make any sort of heker. Now a heker it comes up very much in Taras HaMishpacha. That's where the main sugi of heker is, and that is that when one's wife is also to him, they're not allowed to eat at the same table. So we cross-reference these two sugyas here, Peiches in Basar Bechalav, and Simikuf Tzadi Hey in neither. What? So they have the same halachas back and forth. So if you make it, so it's called a heker. If you put something on the table to remind you that the isha is also, so then that allows them to eat at the table together. So you have the same thing here. If you put something on the table to remind you that there's somebody there eating fleishik, so then it's okay. So today I was sitting at a kiddush, which is a rarity, but I happen to have sat at a kiddush, and it has to be basher. You have to say basher, right? So I'm sitting at the kiddush, and there's cholent on the table, and I got stuck sitting next to the rabbi, which is why I don't go to the kiddushin. And the rabbi decided he wants a coffee by the kiddush. And he says to me, am I allowed to have this coffee by the table? This fleishik's all over here. Right? So it was in a kli, like we said before. But I said, l'chayri, you know, right. So l'chayri needs a hecker on the table.
Please, I don't know.
If there are makilim, but he's drinking it. He's drinking, so then the challenge is right there, it's open, which was in a kli, but so he took a sefer and he said, l'chayri, you need to have a hecker.
It's not
He was
transformed.
okay. So you need to have is a safer a hecker on the table?
It's normal to
Is a
have.
safer something that would remind you? What's the point? Point is you have to have something on the table that's not normally found on the table. If it's something that you always find on the table, that's not a hecker.
Yeah, but
Right?
it's good.
To say that if one guy's
By kiddush.
what?
Yeah, by kiddush.
You're not supposed to
Sefer's
have-
always on.
No.
I don't know. You have to again. I'm just trying to bring out the point that you have to know for yourself. You have to know for yourself what the
Who brings a safer to a kid? Then?
brings the saver to the kiddush, to a kiddush.
Why couldn't you just use a stone? I lost.
Me? Well, we said Rabbi Akiva Eiger says no shimer.
Right, you didn't say that it wasn't good. If you say that having a hecker on the table is good, then why is the shomer good?
Okay,
Sure,
no, a
yeah,
hecker, no, the hecker is different. The hecker's there the whole time. The hecker is there the whole time. What? The shimer, it's the shimer, we're afraid that he's gonna get distracted.
What about for a second? You make a video do
What?
when he sees the other person.
I don't know. Okay, you have to use
Normal.
you have to use your imagination, but it has to be within reason. So it has to be within reason. Whether so, I don't know. He put a safer down, then he copped out on it, and he took the coffee away. He decided that the safer is not a good enough hecker. So, but you're right. It depends if you normally keep a safer on the table.
We couldn't put napkin.
Move the tablecloth, no?
What?
We table to make a napkin.
You can take. There was no tablecloth. I don't think. Maybe there was a tablecloth.
Why'd you put napkin?
We're gonna get all to the hackers. Maybe use a napkin. Okay, we'll get to it. Okay, Vafilu, maybe I should have said Ol Shulchan Aruch first and then the story. Vafilu makirim also shum hacker. Let's say each person eats on his own tablecloth, or what do you call it? Placemat. Let's say a placemat. Now that only works. The poskim say if you don't all normally eat on a placemat. If you always eat on a placemat, that's not a hacker because you're always eating on a placemat. Right? Or if you eat on the same tablecloth, and you put bread there as a hecker, then it's mutter. Now, there's a caveat with that, because if you're both sharing the bread, then that's l'chara not going to work. Okay, well we'll see in a minute.
Isn't pass always on the table? So how to remind you?
What? Right, so that's we'll see that in the I guess let's do it now. Continue in the Ramah. That's only if you didn't eat from the pas that's between them. That's not a hecker. The lav hachi a pas munach al shulchan, right? Yeah, but lav hachi, I'm sorry, a pas munach al shulchan, because you always keep bread on the table. Right, so bread is going to work as a hecker if you're not eating from the bread. But if you're eating from the bread, why is that going to remind you of anything? And that will go the same thing with drinks and the same thing with anything that you normally keep on the table cannot act as a hecker. Right, so again, if you bring svarim to the table, so then it's not a hecker. Well, it has to be the table when you're eating.
Yeah, like the bench.
What? So a siddur you're saying is not, but a sefer maybe, yeah.
The difference.
What?
Is that a thing?
What?
Very simple.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I hear what you're saying. Maybe it's as safe as what? I think he put the coffee. He took the coffee away, and he didn't. He was gonna drink it later. I don't know why he didn't just push the flagsticks to a different table. You know the Maisa. I know it's getting late now. There's a Maisa, a famous Maisa between the Chazon Ish and the Chabina Rav. Chazon Ish was makbid to lock up all svarim for Pesach. Only the svarim. He wouldn't use any svarim the whole year. How does it go? He didn't use any svarim the whole year for Pesach because he was afraid of crumbs, right? But unless he searched it, so he told the Jabina Rav that he uses his svarim on Pesach. He should be complimented that he went and checked his svarim and he used it on Pesach. And the Jabina Rav told him back, nah, you don't use it a whole year, so that's why that's why you're using it on Pesach, right? Okay, but so you have to know with that. Now, there was something that I forgot, a very important one. This I actually did a Maramakum because this Shaila comes up. What's the story with fish and meat on the table at the same time? Every Kiddush, it took me a while for it to remind me, but every Kiddush has this issue. Come on. Can you put the herring on the table at the same time as the chalent, right? Almost every Kiddush has this.
Yeah, it's not Basar at all.
But it's sakana.
Yeah.
It's a sakana. So there's a Noida Yehuda. I wrote this down because I figured this is a good one because it gets, Noida Yehuda, Kama, Even Ezer, Siman Yud Gimel says that it's fine.
What's the sakana?
You can only eat fish and meat together. So how can you have them both on the table? It's saying that maybe you're eating your chalent and you say, oh, look at that, a herring looks good. And you go take a bite of the herring.
Was it
So and Even Ezer, Siman Yud Gimel, Madura Kama. So the reason why he matters it is because Chamira Sakanta Meisura, meaning people are more scared of Sakana than they are of Isser. Unfortunately. I don't know if that's his kavana, but that's essentially what it comes down. You tell people about Sakana and they go crazy, right? Heebie-jeebie and all that type of stuff. People, unfortunately.
I'm saying like I'm allergic to nuts. If you tell me that there's like hazelnuts in a fruit, but it's bata b'shishim, I won't eat it.
Okay, good, good. But okay, that gets into the
Allergy person.
Yeah.
Allergy person.
what?
When people
Yeah.
wash it as a sakana,
What?
the meat.
Meat. People don't eat meat and fish together.
Well, is it just because of Allah, or do they actually view it as a literal sakana?
Oh, you're right. You want to say it's more halacha than it is sakana. Okay, I hear that. What?
Someone's beside him.
Fish and milk? Nah, that's not enough. That's not enough. Okay, it's already late, so we promised there's gonna be a little 45 minutes. We started a couple minutes late. Let's just do the Berheit, and then the next week, Bez Hashem, we'll hopefully get the Olam back, and we'll finish the Ramah. There's a lot of important things at the end of the Ramah here. Okay, we'll discuss it. Yeah, Hacker, the Berhetiv base. Kosav Ashach, the Medibri Atur Barachaim, Soif Siman Kufayin Gimel, Mechaber Kan Mashma, Dafilu Yeshem Hotza Echad, Mahani Hacker, Bechain Mashma Dibri Apoiskim, meaning even if they're coming from the same wallet, the same expense, it still the hacker still works. All right. Then here he brings what we discussed already, but Beis Yaakov Siman Yud Beis Hitul Yisrael Leishev Eitzel Oivik Kechaver Oichel Treifus Deloy Chashina Shem Yoshel Loy Lachshiloi. That's okay. It's a whole sugya. We're not choshid that a guy is eating treifus that he's going to go try and purposely get the yid to eat treif.
At least I think it's
Right? No, but the yid might come and offer a guy might come and offer the treif to the yid. So we're not choshish for that. All right. Now we're gonna get a little diktuk in there too. So we covered everything. Now with diktuk also. Yeah. Ach mi. Now you see here it says she'oichel, and then it says she'ochal. Right? Now, what's the difference between oichel and ochal?
now and
One is present tense and one is past tense, right? Oichel means he's eating now. But the chayra, that doesn't make sense because that's the sugi what we're talking about. So what it means, that's why it has it in brackets, at least in mine, it says she'ochal. This comes up a lot, right? We keep saying that, but it comes up, right? Somebody who already ate fleishiks, can he sit he's not eating fleishiks now. He ate lunch in yeshiva, right? And then he comes to the dorm after lunch and the guy's eating pizza. Can he sit down at the table with the guy eating pizza, or are we afraid that he's gonna go take some pizza? I would be afraid from judging my past history of having no control over food, right? I would be worried about that. No.
It's different from when eating. You may reach for the wrong thing.
Oh, because, well, maybe it's less of a chashash because less of an issa, right? I mean, especially an hour, we're going to get to that in the next Siman Bez Hashem, that me'ikar adin, all you have to wait after eating meat is an hour,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah, you like that, huh? The 3 hours is really no makar, which we'll also see. Okay, but okay, 1 second. Let's just see what he says. Ach misha achal. So we're going to go with she'achal, that he ate. Basar, asar leishiv eitzel misha achal gvina. He is not allowed to sit by somebody eating dairy. Ki yesh lachush me'achar makira, since he recognizes him, achal gvina. I'm sorry. Ki yesh lachush me'achar makira achal gvina, since he recognizes the person who's eating the cheese. Lo yada the achal basar, and the guy, meaning the guy eating the pizza in the dorm, is gonna have no idea that you're fleishiks. He's gonna say, "Here, have a piece of pizza," right? And he doesn't know that you're fleishiks, and v'yashul v'yachal, and he's gonna, not only is he not gonna be a shomer of him, he's gonna even offer him. You hope he'd be a nice guy and he offers you dairy, and so you have a problem. So then you would need a hacker, and you would need that type of. According to this, you would need a hacker.
Is washing enough for that?
In the dinner sauce amidst them all.
Yeah, so
After you eat, after a little bit, you don't have time to eat anymore.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know when that applies exactly. When do we implement that rule?
4 minutes
Yeah.
there.
1 second. Let's just finish it up, right?
Is it only
Um,
because he doesn't know you ate meat, or is it even if he knows?
What?
Doesn't know.
Oh, so no, meaning.
1 second. Let's just finish it up because it's getting late. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, the Berhetiv is bringing that if somebody ate, you're not allowed to go sit by people that are eating milchiks, right? Look at the Pischei Tshuva Dalid Heker Ayin Berhetiv Mashakosov Ach Misha Oichel Basar V'Hu Taz Sefer. It's a mistake, right? V'Tzarach Lem She'Ochal Basar V'Ayin Primagodim Shekosov Loi Re'isi Nizharin Bezeh, which means that Be'etzem he thinks the halacha should be like that, but he never saw anybody being careful on this, right? So what does that mean? So you see, the Prima Godim is a major, I'll say player, but but he's right. He's a major, meaning when the Prima Godim talks, you listen, right? And the Prima Godim is saying, I never saw anybody careful, so it means we shouldn't keep it. Yes, you see, and this is very important for Yeshiva Bachman, for everybody to know. There are certain hanhagas that Klal Yisrael has adopted for whatever reason in different inyanim. If that's what Klal Yisrael does, then that's what Klal. Don't become a wise guy. I mean, you can speak to your rebbeim, etc., and decide you want to be frummer, but what Klal Yisrael does carries a lot of weight. And he never saw anybody being careful with this.
What if you want to be Meichel instead of Macher?
Well,
What if like Clash Shaw does one thing and you want to like be Meichel?
okay, you can do that. Okay, then let's just finish it off. I b'tshuvas masav ben yamin sim kuf yud beis be'emtza tshuva the mashmasham de'im gam acherim oiklum al shulchan zeh. If other people are eating there too, mutter af beloy heker even without a heker dezeh adif mi'im asu shum heker. That's better than making a heker. But if there's a lot of people, v'ayim b'masha kasadil kamon sim and kuf tzadi heisiv cotton hey, that's in taras hamishpacha. So the sugi is cross reference, which okay. So but basically. Bottom line is, if you do eat fleishiks, I talk to them. Anybody here ever heard anybody fleishiks not sitting by a table with milchiks? And I'll tell you an interesting halacha that comes partially out from this is if you have, and this comes up sometimes in the dining room, one guy is eating milchiks and one guy or two guys are eating fleishiks. Can they make a mezuman? Can they be considered based on this sugya? Two guys eating fleishiks, or whatever you want, whichever way you want to spread the numbers out. One's eating milchiks, two eating whichever. Can they make a mezuman together?
Yes, no, they can't.
Because they can't. Is that considered eating together?
As long as with the hacker, you're allowed to.
What?
No, because they
one's
can-
right after.
Oh, very good. So the poskim say that they can make a mezuman. The milchik one has to be the mezaman,
1 second, but
right? Because he can eat fleishiks.
Yeah,
The
but you,
Fleishik guys the Fleishik guys can't eat with the Milchik guy. The Milchik guy could eat with the Fleishik guy.
What if someone like me that waits a half hour?
What?
If someone like, like, sorry, it wasted a half hour.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, whatever. But
but you don't need to eat together to make a zimmer. You can eat.
you know, if he's
make a
eating
zimmer
8
if you
cheese, then it
see
wouldn't
each other.
apply. What?
Can you be Mr. if you go on opposite sides of the room and you see each other? You can.
Okay, so now you have I don't know different yeshivas have different psakim, right? Whether Bachram can make a mezuzah at all. In my days, they used to say b'shem Rebbe Yisvei that you don't make a mezuzah in yeshiva because you're not really eating together. I don't know if that's a true psak. It's not a true psak. Rebbe Brown says yes.
No, said you could, but you
Yeah.
shouldn't. Because
Okay, it's okay. We're now already way over time. I thought maybe we could finish the Ramah. I didn't really expect to finish the Ramah, but I was hoping. Anyways, so just a quick chazara of the practical that we're coming out with from tonight. On a table, you're not allowed to have meat. When you're eating meat, you're not allowed to have milk on the table. We said milk, even though it's gavina, but you're not allowed to have cheese on the table, and vice versa. But that's only on the table that you're eating. On the table that you're preparing the food, it's allowed. Rabbi Akiva Eiger says a shomer is not allowed. The Yad Avram says that on the table that you're preparing it, the food has to be covered because there's a chashash if the food's open that the food might drip on each other. And then we said that that's only in this whole sugya. This was Sif Bays. This whole sugya is only a problem if it's people that recognize each other, and even if they're makbid on each other. But if it's people that don't know each other, then there's no concern. And then we said if you make a hecker, if you make something on the table to recognize, that will make you recognize that it's okay, and that could even be bread, but not if you're eating from the bread. That will be continued. That we need to continue in the Ramah. We also said that the shach brings down but treif, since normally you're used to not eating treif, so you are allowed to sit at a table where they're eating treif. Neder and chametz, that's a problem because you are used to eating. You're used to eating that thing that's Pesach Tshuva says, and then we said that's. And we also said that if it's two people, if you have a hecker, then even if you're both eating from the same source of the food, let's say from the dorm, from the yeshiva, or you chipped in, or it's a siblings, it's still, as long as you have a hecker, that's okay. And we said that really somebody who ate meat should not sit by a table with people that are eating milchiks, but the Pri Megadim said that he never saw anybody eating makbid on this, so l'chari you don't have to be makbid on this. Okay, we will end there. Everybody should have a good tvach, and we should do only the Sudas Taivas. I'll stay on here now, but if anybody wants to ask questions or try to answer questions.
But is there anything wrong with Is there anything
You want me to
chicken and
unmute,
fish on the
Tim?
same plate?
One second. What?
Do you want me to
Let's say
unmute the
chicken and
people
fish
or
on the
ask
same
questions
plate.
on
It's a
chat?
little,
What? They should ask questions on chat?
No, I'm asking, do you want me to unmute or on
You
chat?
could unmute it. You could unmute it if you want. I guess they should chat. They should do chat.
No, they're asking about.
It's like public party, chicken and fish also.
Chicken and fish is sure it's okay.
It's also.
Yes.
Can I have chicken and fish on the same plate? Is that the same?
Same plate.
Or is that the same as being fish?
I never did.
What are you saying?
Is can I have chicken and fish on the same plate? It comes up a lot when like you're eating somewhere and they have like sushi and like poppers and like the one.
On the same plate. You shouldn't have it on the same plate. Yeah.
For meat and dairy that you're gonna eat the dairy, or is it that they're gonna mix together? Meaning the hecker helps that you don't eat the dairy.
Right.
It doesn't help that it doesn't drip in, milk doesn't drip into.
Yeah, it won't help. It won't help.
So we're not concerned about that because hecker works and people that.
Because I think we're assuming that each guy is eating separate, no?
Right.
I think so.
That a kid who's coming with a bottle, you're saying because a kid is dangerous, whatever he's all over.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Right, l'chari, you shouldn't, according to the Yad Avram, you shouldn't sit there and.
Picked you up.
Pick me up.
Where was the kiddush?
Rabbi Groner. Yeah, anyways, yeah.
Do we have to be machmer like the Yad Avram and cover one of the foods when we're preparing food?
You normally prepare food with milk and soufflation and.
Yeah, sometimes, right.
Do you have to be machmer like the Yad Avram? It depends. I would think you should try to. I would think.
Wait,
we
if
should
it's
try
not
to-
in arm's reach though, then you don't have to be.
It's out of arm's reach. If there's no chashash of the food flying onto the other one, then yeah, then it's
There's not a problem.
yeah.
But if not, we should cover.
The kidney shayla for me is very the myself. The last fire altars, they'll make sure, like, rather make sure they have non.
I think it's fine.
Sounds not.
I think so. I would think it's fine.
Culting and bunking there, ticket.
The what?
Culting and bunking there, ticket.
Yeah.
What can they there?
What's cane?
It's not
Oh,
direct.
yeah,
it's
thanks for
not-
coming.
No, you're allowed, the rice you're allowed to eat fish, meat
Yeah.
and milk as a deal.
But it was the Masakin came there, at the right. The Masakin.
Yo, what's the Dain Deraisa? What's the Ain Deraisa here? There's no problem Deraisa.
The problem is it could.
The Deraisa is to cook. With Deraisa, you could take a piece of cheese and put it on your hamburger and eat it, right? So how can you say that it's Ain Deraisa? I think.
Mm.
I think, no?
So if you have a milk replacement, a flesh replacement. Is
What?
that, so if you have a milk replacement and a flesh replacement, is that since it's different?
Oh, that's good. Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, okay, go ahead.
But even though you're always eating on the table, but otherwise, it's the shira.
No, you're not gonna do that.
Anything else? Let's see.
No, but as it's like the other guy.
Go with that, like you shouldn't rely.
What?
You shouldn't rely on a shredder.
You're not.
Kiveger, don't start over in Kiveger.
I'll answer.
I mean, everything always the more.
You're right. If you need it, if you really need it, then you want to be Simon on Hashem. I forgot who's the Cholkem or Kiveger. There are Cholkem or Kiveger. I'm sure if you check in the footnote, you'll find it.
Yeah, what's together related to Isin is hard and bizarre. Like Klaistrol's not noig. Klaistrol's not noig, so
You have to go down that
I
road.
just saw a guy making a Zionist by Malava Malkus with everyone sitting down with bagels and washing, and he said his Paisik Paskin was Zionist.
What?
So
That
what's
Messiah
together?
works.
No,
You're
just in this
saying
case,
you-
we see people who aren't Makbid, and sometimes the Rave's not Makbid.
Yeah, it's a very unclear gather of what you call not Makbid and yes Makbid. Right? It's unclear. Yeah, I would say that the Welt. I could hear saying that the Welt eats mezainis for Lava Malka. I could hear that. No,
You're right now.
Bagel,
I'm
everyone's
not
washing.
good to wash, but that's what does that have to do with me.
Well, it's not a
You're
cool. You can have
Makbid.
it
That's
as-
even a wrong terminology. The halacha is that you should wash.
Right.
Right?
Probably depends if it's a mitzvah or a minig, but yeah, if you go with minig, then
They unmuted everybody. Yeah.
Cameras are still off.
Trying to come an advantage over the Zoom guys, because you could like disturb everyone.
Right now we let the Zoom guys out of jail.
Almost. The cameras we still can't turn on.
Yago,
Oh, you can't turn on the cameras?
Yago,
I'll do that.
Yes.
I don't think someone's yaitz are doing Mizayim small market these days. It's impossible not be able to get pas lechem.
I hear you.
I don't think there's an excuse today in 2025 that you
To
can't
not get bread. You're 100% right. Maybe you can't get fresh bread.
That's something else. If the beggars can't, but that's something else.
What? What? Put one in the oven.
Hey, two times that you shoot Buckham.
Thanks for coming. Good to
Two
see you.
times shoot Buckham.
So how do I answer? This is on the chat? I don't
Yago.
understand.
You have questions on
Yago,
the chat.
everybody figures
It's
out
on the-
every single thing every single cheat they need to figure out to get to watch the World Series on their phones. They can figure out where to get.
Oh, is anyone know what the score is, speaking of?
I
You
hear.
have
Game seven.
You eat herring. You don't wash your mouth. You can just have a spoon. Shalom.
The what?
Game.
My kid, that you eat herring with a cracker, and then you have to wash your mouth out, or
If you have what?
Right, it's true. After I have herring, it's oily. It's in your mouth. It's hard to get out. It smells on your breath. You just have a spoonful of shalom.
You have to eat, before from fish to meat.
You have to wash your mouth.
You have to wash out your mouth. Yeah, and eat vaginas too.
Oh yeah, what's together there? Because herring stays there for a while.
I don't know. Listen, this is why I believe that we should do without. We should just get rid of the kedusha. No offense to the host parents, but no offense. But I think there's so many shilas that come up from kedusha.
Not if you make shahakal on the whole place. That's fine. You're good.
I don't know how to answer, Elio. I don't know how do I answer on this thing?
You have to.
Oh, I
type.
assume you could just answer. I assume they're listening.
Oh, I mean, you want me to answer verbally? But the
Yeah.
final, I don't know if they're still on. Final psak with French toast. I mean, if they're not on, they're not seeing the chat either. I got you. The final psak of making French toast with leftover challah is not allowed unless, and there's kugel being served here live now if anybody wants. It's not allowed. It's not allowed unless the challah was on the challah board or on a challah basket or something like that. And the next one, fish. What?
Even on a challah board, you don't pass stuff over the challah board.
Usually
What, you pass food over the challah board?
I mean, I've seen.
You don't usually
on
touch
challah
it
board.
with dirty hands.
Hey, what about reheating the challah on the, what do you call it, on the chon pot? Does that make it usher?
Yes. We're gonna get to this, Bez Hashem, I don't know when, but we'll get to this.
Zion.
What?
Saudi Zion.
Saudi Zion, but that's really, yeah. We got Power of Challah going now too.
How far do you go? You go into revival?
What?
You go into revival? That everything that if it became flaky
I'm
bread,
not so machmer like Revival's very machmer on this. No, thank you.
Whoa.
Did I bench from I benched.
Right,
Yeah.
where do we come out about fish and meat?
Oh, so what do you come about fish and meat? I was getting to you, Sean. It was good to see you. I feel it's being warm when I see you. But we spend summers. We spend summer. He feeds me in the summer. Fish and meat.
Man is sitting with a jacket on.
Okay, whatever. Fish and meat, we paskin that it's mutter. Even though I think in the Welt, going with what Pesach was saying, in the Welt, I think the Welt. Well, true, there's the Kedushin, they have it on the same table, but I think people at home are more machmer.
Yeah.
What?
In yeshiva, they have tuna fish at the end of a table, even when there's meat. Let's say.
Lamaisa, I think we're not machmer. As far as I know, we're not
Like,
machmer.
those are table. That's just they prepare food. They don't
Well,
even.
that's not what they are.
Hello.
You
Don't eat on that table. You
Sal,
don't put on that
no one eats in the deal.
Then why you feed them with like whatever the food kind it's
Yeah.
Boom.
And also, there's mama's like
Right, that was like
Yeah,
24 times everywhere, so it's like whatever.
It's like the soup always in the middle.
So what is the sack with fish and meat? But we could have them or not have them on the same table. We're not or not or
Fish and meat?
Because suppers in
Fish
yeshiva,
and
that's very
meat,
big. Giant.
you're not, fish and meat, we're not machmer.
No,
We're not machmer.
And also with the
Yeah,
yada
that's
around about that we said that's only if they're nearby each other, but we said if they're
Yeah.
further away. And that includes also with fish and meat as well, or no?
Yeah.
Meaning
I would think
if
so.
there's like fish and meat things right next to each other on the serving table, is that same for Vishnu? Meaning in terms from one spelling to the other?
What do you mean? You're carrying it over?
They're just next to each other on the table, then
It's just in the
not to
street,
make
like,
up issues.
I hear.
Meaning besides for they're gonna eat from other, but it's just gonna spill onto the other, right?
I don't think we'd be I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so.
See, by Kiddush, people are makbid, but by the Shabbos, they're makbid. So
But they are what? Fish and meat?
fish and meat, yeah.
Yeah,
People
sure.
come
And
for
then
plates.
another thing is people think you can't eat fish after meat for whatever. They think mamish the fish takes the place of the milk. Lots of people think, oh, I already ate challah, and then they say I can't eat fish. Why can't you eat fish? Right?
You had this in mind?
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, I gotta log it off here. Okay. Good talk, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. If anybody has any horrors, you'll please let me know. Has anything to say? Yeah. All right. Good talk.
Is this the
Good
regular
to see everybody.